5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve.
What's happening, people? Good morning, good morning. I see 4 of you already out here lurking. Pardon me. It is a beautiful, cloudy, funky, hot day in New Jersey today. Enter full screen. So, welcome. I'm here. We're doing things a little backwards. My computer here to my right, which I usually use to do the show, is acting weird. I've got some user error issues on my part, but we'll get through this regardless. We have our good friend, the amazing and talented bluesman, Memphis Gold, will be with us shortly. We're going to play in some of his music, talking to him about the blues, about barbecue, about the 4th of July, about all the good stuff going on. Let's see what we've got in the news today. We have some weird stuff. In Britain, they have taken a hard turn to the left, so it's a Labour landslide for Britain. We will see what happens. Brazil president indicted ex-president Bolsonaro for money laundering and criminal association. He's a politician. Aren't they all criminals at a certain level? Okay, AA flight emergency landing after passenger exposes himself and urinated in the aisle. That's some crazy right there, people. That's what you get on the 4th of July weekend. You got some Billy Bob sitting there, can't fit his ass into the tiny bathroom on the plane, so he just whips out his little puddling and has at it. So needless to say, he will not be flying anymore, and we like that. I don't want to be on a plane with some turd taking a leak in the aisle. That's an ass whipping in some places. So, crypto investors are more likely to have dark personality traits. How many of you people out there have dark personality traits? Let's see. I've got a couple here. Veronica, good day from Australia. Good day to you. I apologize, guys, because I am going to be doing the show a little weird today. I'm funking around. Mandy is in the green room waiting for us. I'm here yapping about the news. And Memphis will be with us in a little bit. But let's see if there's any... The scientists are confirming a slowdown in the Earth's inner core rotation. So if you feel it, you feel it. I don't. In deep blue LA, Dems feel worried and concerned. Okay, well, so it goes. We're worried and concerned. Let me see. It's a holiday weekend. There's not really much going on. Well, there is, but we're not being told. And we got record-breaking heat to test electric grids in the West. There was a quadruple. What? Now, this is weird news. This doesn't happen often. A quadruple shark attack. Man, this lady got bit. Very scary. She apparently got bit below the knee, and she's laying on the beach. She was left bloodied and wounded, as the U.S. Sun said. The shark was seen prowling the waters. I like that word, don't you? Prowling. Sound like the Hamburglar or something, he's always prowling about. It's amazing. I was watching some stupid YouTube videos over the weekend, and I've got to tell you, we are devolving rapidly, and it's kind of scary. But at any rate, shark, I forget what I was going to say, but here we've got a terrifying moment. A shark lurks just feet away. You know what, people? Sharks are smart to be careful about, but even this thing's probably chasing a school of fish and bit the lady, realized it was a woman and not a pack of fish, and it hauled ass. She nonetheless has a very bad day, and it hurt like hell. We have mumbling Biden calls himself a black woman in painful interview. Well, let's think about this. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and bring Mandy on. I sit here talk to myself. What the hell? Where is she? Bring her on. Come on, man. Where is she? There we
Hey,
go.
how you doing?
I'm excellent. I'm excellent. How about
Nice,
you?
nice. Doing okay. Trying to wake up here, you know.
Yeah, good. How's the boy doing? He enjoying holiday festivity and
Oh,
burgers and
sure.
dogs?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, of course.
Very
Yep,
cool.
yep.
Well,
Uh,
as I told you, we're horsing around here on my iPad, so you don't get the usual view. People want to see what my crazy hovel looks like.
Yeah, you have
Get
some
out of
sort
the
of a
way.
band-aid on your finger. What happened?
Yeah, it's and over here we get the sky eye view of a drum kit and all the other craziness in here. But yeah, so I haven't seen Memphis yet, but he does have an invite, so hopefully he'll be here. You got the same one you did, so you're here. And if not, it's the 4th of July, peeps. So for anybody watching, what are you guys doing out there? Any 4th of July activity? I see a few people in the room. Speak up, manja, manja. So I don't know about you. What did you do? Did you have a barbecue at your house, or you go somewhere else?
No, I mean we didn't have a barbecue, but I did have my family at my house, and then me and Kai went to go see some fireworks at night, so that was
Nice,
nice. You know, it was
very
our
good,
first time checking out the fireworks here in town. You know,
excellent.
so now I know which spot we should go to. You know, you
Oh,
need
very
like
cool.
you know, but it was great. It was great. We had a great day. How about you? What have you been up
We
to?
had a great day. I went over to my old guitar player's house, and
Mm-mm,
his girlfriend Annie made everything:
mm.
burgers, dogs, a steak, all the coleslaw, and all the good stuff. It was just amazing. And then at the end of
Nice.
it, a piece of chocolate death, about
Uh-huh.
that big, that thick, and I'm talking like it was so dense. It was a pave, and it was like so dense. This cake that big weighed like
Yeah.
8 pounds. It was like a chunk of
Oh
gold.
yeah.
It was
Yeah, I
so
believe
thick
it.
and dense. When you cut it, you could barely cut it. I got to tell
Yeah.
you, everybody had a tiny piece. Me and my
Yeah.
friend each had two tiny pieces. It was fucking killer. And
Yeah.
at the end of the night, nobody wanted to take it home because it's so good. They figured they'd eat it all. So I volunteered to take it off their hands.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
Nice.
manja on that for the rest of the weekend. And I got all kinds of food. And today, I'm surprised to let everybody know the beaches are open, folks. Come on down, Seabright and Highlands. Yesterday was insanity.
Mm.
There was an accident, a big accident, and getting to Sandy Hook, there was cars bumper to bumper all the way back to like to Middletown,
No
which is
good.
a couple of miles, like 2 miles up the road, was backed up. And then
Yeah.
down here, of course, you have all these idiots who come down and they pass everybody and then try and cut them off, like right where the exit is.
Mm.
So it's just pandemonium. In the summer, typically the cops will run down there and they'll put like 3 or 4 guys on the bridge running around writing tickets for those guys who come screaming by. And the cop
Mm.
jumps out, writes them a ticket. It makes it for quite an ordeal. On top of it, the Park Service, and all their wisdom, because some politicians set up their deal, you go there and it takes like 3 minutes per credit card transaction to get signed in to bring your car in for $15. So it was just like you hear people screaming at each other, they're getting
Yeah.
pissed. The ideal beach vacation is not spent on the beach fighting with other patrons of the shore,
Yeah. Yeah. You'd hope
But
not.
I don't get that worked up. I don't know about you, but if I'm driving in traffic and there's some asshole in front of me, I will call him an asshole. I'll get annoyed with him, but I
Uh.
won't like blow around him and curse
No.
him and flipping the bird.
No. Yeah.
I
No.
just sit back
I
because
don't
you just don't
escalate
know
it.
how people are
I
going to
just kind of,
react.
yeah, I don't escalate it. I just acknowledge it. Because usually, like,
Yes.
Kai's in the back, and, like, I call it getting a mom ticket. I'll be like,
Yes.
they just got a mom ticket. And, all right. You know, or sometimes I'll be like, ah, you turd. And, but that's pretty much as bad as it gets, you
I'm
know?
lucky. I have not, and it's amazing. I think I must have an honest face. I have not had a ticket in 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
My driver's license is clean as a baby's ass, newborn, and it's good. The last time I got pulled over, I was in Fairhaven, which is a nice where the landed gentry all have their perfect children and perfect dogs and perfect second trophy wives, and everybody has the right car and the right attitude. More importantly, I'm sorry, folks over there. You guys are a little got the nose up, man. Any rate, they lowered their speed limit down to 30 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, 25. It's even more outrageous. So I'm coming down looking at a sign, and it was up by the school. And it just happened that it was a school zone, so I really slowed down. But on the approach to it, I had
Mm-hmm.
been doing like 30. So I go by, I slow down to 25, but she gave me a ticket. She radared me before I got up to her. She was about to give me a ticket. So I go by and I'm feeling all clean and fresh and like, I can't touch me. I ain't got nothing, doing nothing wrong. I see the red lights. I'm, what did I do now, you know? Nice lady cop gets out. You know how fast you're going? I was like, yes. I was roaring through the village at 30 miles an hour. Why did you pull me over? She goes, no, we lowered the speed limit down to 25 everywhere all year round. So I went, oh, imagine my surprise, honey.
Yeah,
She goes
yeah.
back. She says, have you got any tickets? And I said, I don't know. I said, I probably got a few. I figured there's like at least a few that I got 3-4 years ago that have like, you know how they give you an assessment, like they add you another bill and your insurance goes up and all this shit happens. Well, she comes back up. She says, you haven't had a ticket in 6 years. And that was a year ago. And I looked at her and I went, no kidding. I said, you know, it's funny, man. You stop drinking, you stop getting in all kind of trouble. She
This is
cracked
a
up and
real
laughed.
thing. That's a true
And,
thing.
you know, it was great, though, because, I mean, shit, you know, I don't drive that maniacally. I've gotten tickets when I've been, like, working in sales and in a hurry to a call. But at any rate, so who's here? I see a few of you guys lurking in the shadows. Again, the lurkers are here.
Lurker.
We don't know what they're lurking about. And our guest is still MIA. I think I'm going to send him a little text. You know, it is the day after 4th of July. So it's highly possible that Memphis is just like still, you know, sleeping off some great food and cupcakes.
Not realizing it's Friday, like me.
Not
I
realizing
was like,
it's
"That's
Friday.
my mom's here. She's visiting, so my mom's here.
Hi,
Kai
Mom.
was here, and yeah, and
Has she
this
ever
morning
watched
it
the
didn't
show?
feel like Friday. No, she doesn't care.
Thank God.
She's very unimpressed.
Yes, I'd imagine so. That's good. That's a good sign. I'm trying to sit here. I'm going through my phone, just trying quickly to hit up our buddy Memphis. Where you at, man? Okay, chats. We'll find that young man. Memphis, people, is one hell of a guy. He really is one of my favorite guests because he feels like family. You know, you call him up and he's just hanging out. And where you at? Anyhow, I just sent him a little note. We'll see what's happening. But Memphis has been playing. In fact, I'm going to go ahead. We have a great guest this afternoon. His name is Levi Colby, and he's up for a bunch of awards down south. He's up and coming country star. The guy's kicking ass. He's got the look. I think the ladies will love him. He's got the voice. The band's got the right presentation. They're good, solid as hell country band. Whoever recorded him did a really nice job. It's well done. And so I'm going to test the video systems here to see if we can. We tried this before. It didn't allow me to share my screen for some reason. Mirror my camera. No. So everybody out there, if you do happen to use StreamYard for your audio and video needs, if you don't have it on the desktop, you cannot put any background music up. So before this afternoon, I will have figured out whatever's causing problems on this overpriced piece of boat anchor, and we'll take it away. I can, however, play some. All hell broke loose because I closed. What did I do? I emptied my cache. For you people in computer land, the cache is where all of your passwords and shit are stored. So by cleaning out my cache, my desktop has new passwords, and they've all been changed slightly. And my password management system is to just make a new one. So I have to go through and find out which one is the right one.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Everything was
Oh my
working.
god.
And remember, I sent the invites to, like, early in the week. I had everything prepared, had guests.
Yeah.
Everything was, like, lined up with precision.
You're a self-sabotager.
I guess. I don't know. I'll deal with it, you know. So people remember, this is the 4th of July, and if our guest doesn't show, we run things kind of loose and fast around here, as you may have noticed or may not have noticed if you've never watched. However, we always do try to have fun, at least for the time period we're on. If Memphis doesn't show, being as it is the weekend and the holiday, I may make an arbitrary decision and we will just depart at the half past the hour. I do that so Mandy can go play with her kid, so I can go play with my kitten, and I can stay inside in the air conditioning, messing around with my computer, so that I can get you, the adoring public, a show this afternoon with bells and whistles and bombs. Who knows? I might even bring my sampler in here and add a whole bunch of new things that go bump in the night to the show. If a guest makes a bad noise, I can play farts or glass breaking or gunshots or any number of annoying sounds to keep you interested and hopped up and ready for action. So I will tell you this day is kind of a bust in that even going on the news, it's a bad day when I can't find one thing to really crack up on the news and get people laughing. There's nothing there. It's all like,
well, there's the mile-long meteor.
Oh, is it heading our way?
No. It's not going to get us, but it's a mile. It's a mile long. It's big.
There's some days
I read an article on that. That was pretty crazy.
Sometimes
I don't remember half the article.
Maybe if it just hit and took it over, we'd start over again. The whole planet might feel better, but I don't want to go yet.
No, we'd be gone.
We'd be gone. No live with Neve, no
that's
Mandy
science.
Show, no twisted gingers,
Yeah, there's no nothing. That's it.
I don't know. So we'll hope that mile-long meteor stays wherever it is going, and I don't know.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, we can blame Trump.
I do know, though, if you want to make an ass load of money, you have to learn how to mine asteroids.
Absolutely.
And,
Have you ever wondered why hemorrhoids are called hemorrhoids and asteroids are? I think they should switch the nomenclature. I think if you've got a roid down there, you'll know it. Number one, but if I ever have that problem, which I've never had, I'm going to go and call the doctor and tell him, Doc, I got problems. I got asteroids.
Yeah, exactly.
I always like goofing on the doctor. Especially the nurses when they're like, here's an example. When I fell down and broke my shoulder in the house, I had to get carried out of here. And I was in savage pain. I mean, like the worst I could imagine. So to keep myself from just freaking out or passing out because it hurts so bad, I'm cracking jokes to them as we take off. And then they have a new trainee and they take my shirt and button and they stick all these dots on me to take my measurements.
Yeah.
And I couldn't resist. And I'm laying back there and I go, God, the whole way I was just going, motherfucker, this hurts. And she goes to turn on this little iPad device and it's not turning on. And I'm telling him, what's the matter? And I said, my health is great. I told him, other than breaking my arm. And she turns it on and it comes on. And she goes, oh, it's working now. And I went, and jumped up off the gurney, like forward. And they all just went, and they're like looking at me. And I looked at them and I said, I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't help myself. I'm fine. The moment, though, that poor girl, the look on her face, she's just like, are you okay? I said, well, not really. I said, physically, I'm not doing okay. But mentally, I'm just fucking around because it hurts so bad. If I don't laugh, I'm going to punch either the wall or myself because it hurts so bad. It was awful. And every bump, we're riding over, we go by Bon Jovi's house. You think if the governor and Bon Jovi live on that freaking road, you think they'd pave the son of a bitch? Make it so
maybe they do that to keep people out.
Maybe, but before, you know what? It's been better before. They're just lazy up in Middletown, I guess. But, I ride by, I'd see the governor. Hey, what's up there, horseface? The choppers on that guy are amazing. Politically, I don't care. It's New Jersey. It's been Democrat as long as the state's fucking been here. So I don't worry about it. Do what you want, people. Vote who you want in. I'm going to live fine either way. I don't care. I'm determined that no matter who gets elected ever, I'm going to let them affect me as little as possible. Thankfully, I'm too old to get drafted, so that's kind of good, although I'd probably enjoy it. I think it would be great fun going over and raising some hell with some of our enemies, but being 62, I'm just going to sit and watch. I'm not going to, I think war is a bad thing. I don't want to see our guys go anywhere, personally. And that's just the way I feel about it. Republican, Democrat, it don't matter. We don't need to be sending a bunch of kids to die for stupid shit. If somebody's attacking us, I'm all for defending ourselves. But I'm, being a busybody in the world, I'm kind of a don't fuck with me and I won't bother you kind of a guy. And I feel that way about politics too. If
Yeah.
America minded our business a little bit better at times, and I'm not saying we're perfect either, but at times we screw up, and sometimes we do great things for people. World War II, we us with the Russians saved the world pretty much, and now we're at odds with the Russians. And the past few years, everybody's like, "Oh, we hate the Russians, Putin," and you know what? Every country thinks it's the best and wants their country to do good. Putin grew up in World War II at the end of it, starving in St. Petersburg. He's got a big vision thing going on, which it's fucked up. He's taking the typical Soviet turn towards start a war,
Yeah.
get some territory. It keeps you in power. But I'm not surprised. And what I am surprised is that people in America seem to think that we have this huge national interest and that he was just going to go attack the rest of Europe. The guy's not stupid. He's calculating.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in Ukraine for basically 60, 80 years. It was always considered their sphere of influence. And the truth is, our country's done things to poke the stick at him. Which,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying if they think that they're going to get bombed by shit that comes from us, they're going to bomb us sooner or later. It's been going on for 2 years now. And I'm not saying I don't hate Putin, because I think he's a horrible fucking guy. I mean, all the people who've died because of him, his own people, the people in Ukraine, he's a freaking asshole. And you have to be tough with him. But tough doesn't necessarily mean starting a war. There's other ways. And I know people are going to say sanctions don't work, but believe me, they do. It's just having enough time. Right now, what I envision happens, stalemate. They're going to get stuck on the ground essentially where they are. And this will carry on. If a new president comes in, will it end immediately? No, it won't. Whatever Trump says about pulling all the funding and shit, you can say a lot of things on a campaign trail when you're in the office. You're not going to do, because you got other people who have interests. You don't know what our interests are over there. I know it's typically shit like oil and gas and all that, but I don't know. That's about all I know. So I see 5 of you guys here, and for anybody who's gotten advertising, I'm sorry, today we will have to have a dearth of advertising. We're having battlefield conditions here. You can see it's just hell. It's war as hell. At any rate, I feel weird because I can't go roll into a commercial now to just segue out. It's 10:24, people, so we're gonna just sit here and fart around till 1/2 past the hour, and then Mandy's gonna get to go do her thing. I'm gonna go do mine, and I hope all of you guys do your thing too. And I promise this afternoon at 4 o'clock we have our great guests coming on, and we'll have this technical malaise or flu taken care of.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyhow, I don't even have anything to say other than it's a party weekend, people. And Uncle Neil's suggestion, as much as possible, stay off the internet if you can. Do something with your friends, your family.
Yeah.
What was great
Yeah.
about the party yesterday is we got guitars out. They had a
Uh-huh.
cajon there, so of course I had something to beat on. We just sat around. We played a couple tunes, poorly because we haven't played together in years. But it
Yeah.
was the fun of just sitting down
Nice.
after, like we haven't probably
Yeah.
played together in a couple of years. And we
Mhm.
were okay. I mean, the suck knob was turned on. It was stuck for a little while, but then we got back into our groove. And
Well, I mean, you're just jamming out at a friend's house.
I
There's
wasn't
no.
worried about,
Yeah,
fluff nose
exactly.
hair. Truth was, as a singer, you got to warm up. And if you're not warmed up, the first song or two is going to be, it can be painful or awful
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well,
But,
yeah.
my
Yeah, you
throat's a little
do.
froggy. And I was just like, God damn it, I have to cough up a hairball here to get my vocal range going. But we all had a good time, and I didn't see any small animals falling out of trees or anything. So we
Nice.
sang a few. I did change a few lyrics just to annoy my former guitar player.
Uh-huh.
Because like sometimes when I'd be singing a song, like we'd be doing "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and I would sing, "I want to hold your glands. I want to
Yeah.
hold your glands." You'd see people in the audience; they don't usually notice it, but occasionally I'd get
Yeah,
a
ever
couple
done
of
that, yeah.
people, like you see some chick and a guy, and they crack up, and the chick's like, "You hear what he's singing?"
Yeah.
My guitar player just getting annoyed with me, and I know how. I understand why, but and he'd say, "Why do you do that?" I'm just having a little fun, see if anybody's actually paying attention to us in the audience enough to even give a shit.
Uh-huh.
And I mean that just because it's funny. Sometimes a club owner will hire a band sometimes that's like a real loud band, and then their club is not suited to that kind of thing. Everybody's
Hmm.
all senior citizens in there having their special before 5 o'clock. And,
Yeah, yeah,
my
exactly.
old band, we were just irreverent would be the word. So we'd go in and do what we do. But one good thing is using an electronic kit, you can turn the volume down in those situations. I
Yeah,
mean, I can play an
exactly.
acoustic kit quietly. I mean, I have a smaller kit that I use for those kind of gigs. Just so the only thing I don't like about it is it makes me look like a big goof playing like a rock band because the
Uh-huh.
kits are small and I'm tall enough that it's I feel like I'm playing on a
It's
little
like a toy, right?
my friend's kids thing. I felt so
Yeah.
bad once. My friends had rock band, and they were like, "Neil, play the drums." I'm playing it. We're playing some Led Zeppelin, and I'm just watching that thing. I've never done it before, and I'm totally in maniac mode. And I ended up breaking the kid's drum set. It was terrible. The little drum
No.
thing snapped off. So I went out. I
You
bought
just
him a
went
whole new set.
sideways. You just
It
went
just went.
sideways on my screen.
What
It's
the
like you
hell
just
is
went
going on?
boop. Yeah, that was very interesting.
Let's reorient. That's my hand. It's not some gross object. It's
Aliens.
guess the anatomy. Now let's try it again. All right,
There
it's
you
doing what it
go.
should. See this?
Back
I'm being
in.
like I think we have a
No.
poltergeist, a
Not back
technological.
in
Oh, look
business.
at this. Where's our old resident demonologist, guys? Whoever is here who watched our early shows, I don't know if you remember when we
Mm.
had a ghost hunter. He was one of the during the show. He'd have a segment in the morning. He would tell us what he was working on. And he went
Mm.
out and did a ghost hunt one night. And I swear he had somebody off camera blowing cigarette smoke past the camera. He had a little EFP meter or whatever they call it, the ghost hunter thing. Look at this thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They heard me talking about it, man. This is like spirits of ancient Egypt or something. I looked in the coffin, and ever since I've had a plague of boils and leech. Oh, and funny news for you guys. These fucking things driving me crazy. Okay. Now what'll happen, it'll switch sideways again.
Yeah, that's for
Two
sure.
days ago, I'm going in to play my percussion device, got my headphones on upstairs. I was practicing alone. I hear this buzzing and I look and I've got like fucking 20 flies on a window. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like wanting to get some chemical warfare going, got a whole plan of attack. But no, I can't find any air spray. I have a regular fly swatter and the electronic version. So I got one in each hand, and I'm running around killing flies like a maniac. I'm smacking them on the
Mm.
glass. I'm whacking them on the other, going. It's like hitting a fucking plane with a missile. They're like.
Yeah.
This shit's been going on for 2 days. I've had like 100 of them. I've killed at least 100 in the past 2 days. It's so disgusting. So my theory is a squirrel or something died in the
Dead.
wall somewhere,
Yeah.
and I
I
can't
was gonna
smell it.
say
Thank
that. Yeah.
God. But there's got to
Yeah.
be because they're green flies and little fuckers bite.
Yeah.
So I've got one cat who's like, I call them sky raisins. They're the
Uh-huh.
acceptable form of protein.
Mm.
They have like approximately 1 gram of meat factor, and they're gluten free. So have at it, cats. So if anybody out there I'm amazed. There's still the same 5 people. Nobody's talking. Here's Rick. That's not funny. What's not funny, man? You think I'm funny? Like I amuse you? Hey, Rick, how you doing, man? Happy birthday. And,
Oh, it's Rick's
oh,
birthday.
Deborah, I
Nice.
love
Happy
you.
birthday.
Yeah, right. Oh, by the way, Rick, you and my girlfriend, Annie, share the same birth date. Pretty weird. Or they're a day apart. Is yours the 28th or the 27th, Rick? I don't know. He might have left us already. He doesn't like the show with that motion graphics. No. The thing is, he sat on the phone with me for about an hour before the show, so I'm pretty sure that he's had enough of me for the day, you know. Small doses, man. What can I tell you? You know, as much as it's 10:30 and I was like going to bail off, it's always fun just to sit here and blather and see what comes up, what some of our fans sometimes will come up with. I watched our little episode with Look.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little heckler action. That was pretty amusing. It looked better afterwards than it felt at the time. Because I always, in my head, if I scorch somebody, I always wonder if I'm scorching them like too hard. You know, I don't want to be a dick. At the same time, sometimes you just got to hold your ground, man. You know, you got to tell people, fucking have manners or go somewhere else. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't worry about it. You know, hecklers in a club, you have, no matter what, if you're a guy in the audience or a girl and you start heckling a comedian or a band or an entertainer, remember, guys, all of us who are in the entertainment industry have been heckled. If we want to turn into savage animals, we could, but most of us aren't that way. Like,
most of us don't care.
Audience, there's a kind of a respect factor that I feel when they heckle is outside the lines of decency. I've never been one of those guys who walks in at the back of the club and stands there and looks at the band. And I'm more inclined to go sit at the bar and hang out and listen to them, send them around to drinks, and go up and say hello after the gig. You know, that's my personal preference.
Yeah.
Standing there like a douchebag, like, go. You look like your body language tells me you think my band sucks, you think I suck, and what are you doing here? You should be out working.
I can't stand people like that. I can't stand.
At any rate, it used to be you could make 7 nights a week in Florida when I was young, man. Back in the 80s, there was bars everywhere. Drinking age was 18. People were, you know, we didn't have all the AIDS fears. People were screwing around, having fun, and not so worried about getting some death, you know, disease that could kill you. They were good times. The men were men and the sheep were scared. And remember, people, that always means no. Rick, he must have left, because I know if you were here, you would always certainly take up the challenge.
Yeah.
Smart ass comment. You know, what was I going to say? I don't know. My computer here, like, I can't get into any of the news sources I like to look at. Just like X right now has blocked me out. And then you enter your password, run too many times wrong.
Oh, yeah, and then forget about it.
Australia was always 18. Is it still?
Nice.
Deborah, is it still 18 though? It's amazing. We can be sitting here yapping at somebody who's like, I don't know, 30, 40,000 miles away in Australia, and we're sitting here yakking through a telescreen, which, I mean, it's a funny idea, really. You think about it, 4 years ago, when COVID hit, I couldn't do any of this crap, get online, you know? It just, I had to struggle. The first show I did with an iPad and an iPhone, because it all went to hell. I didn't have any of the software to complicate things and not work, but I did the show like that for a year, and I look at the episodes and sometimes really laugh hard, because like anything, it's like listening to your first band tape that you made when you were 14. For me, I listened and I thought, well, we were pretty good for some young kids, you know. Mm-hmm. But I also laughed at the difference between like how it is once you know, after you've been doing music for 20 years or so, your band better be pretty good, or you're probably not working much, you know.
Yeah.
But so everybody, it's 10:35, and I don't know. I think we're gonna put a spear in this old pony, or no, what do we call it? The old Yeller treatment. We're gonna take this show out behind the barn. Sometimes you got to do a mercy killing. This one's been fun, and it's just I hate to tell you guys, there's nothing newsworthy to really talk about and yap at. Our guest's probably enjoying his post-holiday bliss. I'll call him, or he'll call me later and say, "Oh, I forgot,
That's
man."
it. Yeah.
No, don't go. All
Yeah.
right. Well, we're going to sit here for a little more. We'll talk to you. Deborah, tell us what's going on in Australia right now. Give us a blow by blow. How's the weather? I know it's turning into the cool season because you're wearing my shirt. Thank you, people. Remember, get a Live with Neve t-shirt. They make you look better. And I liked it so much, I made the t-shirt. At any rate, I will tell you this. They are really good quality. They last, and they're tough. And I'm about to make another shirt order. So if you're out there, I'm making men's and women's. The girls, of course, have a little more room and a V-cut, whereas the guys are just like a typical t-shirt. But they're really good quality, and the company I use does it here in America. I like that. And here's a friend of ours we've had on the show yesterday. All right, that's our friend Elizabeth Berliner from the Berkshires, from Stockbridge, Massachusetts. I'll tell you, she's great fun. Her husband and her used to own a big studio in LA that everybody, Leland and Waddy, all were there through the 70s and 80s recording with her and her husband. Sadly, good morning, Susan. How are you?
Hey, Susan.
All right, we got a testimonial from Deb Norman. You're the best. I'm gonna take a picture of that. You know why? Because people, that's the first thing a lot of them ask me. Oh, is it a shit T-shirt? Is it like one of those really lame ones you buy at a concert that's like $40 and it lasts a month? I'm like, no, this is gonna. I've got 4 of them, and I know I don't buy any shitty shirts because it's like a pet peeve of mine. If you're gonna sell a shirt, sell a good fucking shirt. If you're gonna sell a record, make it a good record. Don't put shit out there. There's enough shit in the world, people. Do something good, man. Dare to be different. Fight mediocrity in all of its forms. If you're in a band, don't be ripping off your fans buying some cheap ass t-shirt. They're advertising your shit for free, people. So get them a nice shirt that feels good and it doesn't have scratchy shit in their armpits and tags that annoy you. Let's see. Nick Clemens said hello to everybody. Been talking to Nick. He's a really great kid. I say he's a kid. He's not a kid. He's Nick's kid, but he seems like a kid to me because he's younger significantly. But what a guy. He had people trying to rip off all of his dad's money. He's had legal battles to get his beer company going. And you know how it is. People who are very successful have people freaking always running around trying to glom onto him. And he handles it good. Clarence Clemens, from what I know, I never met the guy. I've heard what a great dad he was and what a great human just in general. Everybody loved him. And that's hence why Bruce Springsteen was one of his best friends for decades. But he raised his son well. He's a gentleman, and I like that. I like the fact that he's not a douchebag like so many kids. I've met lots of people. Go meet Gene Simmons' kids. You know, no offense. I like Gene and I like his kids, but they're definitely privileged to death. Like, you know, out in LA, they've got it going on, and more power to them. But so I don't know what I would have been like if. I mean, I'm enough of an asshole already. If my parents had Gene Simmons money, kiss my ass. I got my Ferrari. I can see why kids go completely psycho. When I was in boarding school, my roommate was given a Lotus Elite. His fucking grandfather founded IBM, one of the 7 founders, or 5, I forget. His dad was the president of Bethlehem Steel. They lived in Bethlehem, and he was a boarding school brat. And year ahead of me, my roommate graduates. And that year, we go to pick up his graduation present in Connecticut. And we're going to drive this car to Florida. We go. I'm amazed. We pull up to this car dealer. It's got Rolls Royce, Lotus. It's up in Connecticut. Canaan, to be exact. And we pull in this old beat shit piece of crap Subaru. And we pull in and we drive out in a Lotus Elite. Yellow, bright fucking yellow, an amazing looking car. Take off, start heading to Florida, and we get down to New York State. Going to take 95 all the way south. and we get broadsided. Fred runs the red light. We get broadsided in the car. My door, actually. Crash. Call his uncle. His uncle comes down to pick us up. Comes down in a big old Bentley, picks us up. We go back. Now, I don't know about you guys if you have any kids. I know Mandy has a child, but too small. My ex-friend's son used and sold weed. Well, good for him. Well, an enterprising young man. All I want to know is what my cut is. That's it. Bottom line, kids, he's industrious is the way I look at it, Think about it. There's a lot of poor guys in the ghetto who they ain't got no way to make any money. And if they're out trying to do the right thing and feed their kid, if they're selling a little weed to do it, I don't really give a crap. People do what they have to survive. And people always say what deadbeat dads are. But, if you ain't got nothing to do and you want to do right, it's really hard to feed your kids if you got no money. And so I don't worry about people selling a little bit of weed. I think drugs like fentanyl and this new monkey tranquilizer, horse tranquilizer, they're mixing it with fentanyl. As if that's not bad enough. You have to have atrazine, that's what it's called. It's a horse tranquilizer, actually. But I don't know if any of you have seen it, but in Philly, they all stand around like this. I know, I love a drug where I just take it and I slump over and stand there and drool on myself for 3 or 4 hours.
That's crazy.
Jesus, man. I mean, it's frightening. And
Yeah.
The problem with the drug war was, if they'd have been smart, they would have been really factual and told people and showed them what's going on with people addicted to, say, fentanyl. Those people are so sick. At any rate, that's terrible. It's a good way to get killed in the city, ripping off people for their marijuana. That's the worst thing that happened. Thieves who would go after weed dealers. But in general, I don't know anybody out there, even cops, they don't want to arrest somebody for weed. They've got murderers and sick freaks out there doing all kinds of shit. Your average cop, even in the 70s, I got let go a bunch of times for having a little pot. In fact, half the time the cops would steal it, go home and smoke it. I mean, I hate to tell everybody out there, but I have personal knowledge. I've smoked weed with undercover detectives. And the guy was my friend. And whenever I was at another friend's house, and when this guy came by, my friend goes, "Oh, this is Detective so-and-so." I won't say his name in case he's alive still, but my friend who came in was like, "Oh, what?" And there was a big turntable lid that you put on top of the turntable, and it sounded like a pound of weed in it. And my friend sees us sitting at the table with the detective. He flashed him his badge and stuff. I mean, I was like 14 at an older friend's house, but it was so different back then. I mean, he moved to Colombia. Oh, to Colorado. He's probably baked all the time, man. I can't believe the buyers came to her house and her son ripped them off, man. That's like really dangerous business. Ripping anybody off, people. Don't be a thief. Really, you get hurt that way because some people, if you thieve from them, are just going to go like wildcat on your ass. And it makes your life, it's better without broken bones and a speech impediment from some guy whacking you in the head with a broomstick or whatever implement. What do they call it? A blunt object. Well, what kind of a blunt object was it? I don't know. He hit him with a dildo. That was actually a case on YouTube. Guy threw his wife's dildo and hit her in the face. And somebody videotaped it. And so the guy got arrested for hurling the dildo, the singular, not the plural, insinuating that it's your dildo. Remember that line from Fight Club when the battery-powered buddy in there? Bob?
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty funny. I don't know about you, but I thought that was a great movie. I still think it had such great social commentary.
Yeah.
Her husband was a bigger asshole. I love it, Susan. Tell it like it is, baby. Yeah, you'd think Dad would have told. I know in my life, my mom would not tolerate me selling any weed out of the house. She'd have put an ass whipping on me, and that would not have been a good idea. My mom knew I smoked. She didn't like it and didn't care for it one bit. But when you're at boarding school and stuff, you kind of get to do things younger than you just. You have opportunities that you don't get when you live at home and you have to go home every night. In boarding school, by the time I went home, I had emancipated myself. I had a job at my school, I made money. And when I moved to Florida for my last year of school, it was like, what in the fuck? I had to go and take all like 5 classes, work study, which I worked as a busboy. I took PE, art, music, and driving lessons or whatever they call it, driver's ed. And in those days, people allegedly would ride around in these brand new cars that we had, like 10 of them. And there'd be like 2 or 3 people per car, but people would be smoking weed riding around the parking lot with Coach Seitzman. It was just like crazy. And, you know, the whole parking lot smelled like people were smoking out. And this guy was a coach, and it was really funny looking back. We had a swim team he coached, and there was a really hot chick on the swim team. She's still around. I won't use her name, but ended up marrying her coach. She's like 17, and Bud Bowden ends up marrying her. But we all knew at the time that there was some. It just you can tell when 2 people dig each other. You know, if you see them every day and they start acting weird around each other, and that's how all of us knew that there was something going on. But they're happily married, last I heard. So good for them. You know, the power of love. It's like that brings up a topic of if you're 21 people and your kid, guy or girl, is dating someone who's 17 or 18 about to graduate. Do we think that putting a 17 or 18-year-old kid who's say that he had sex with a 16-year-old, do we really think that we should put them in jail for that? Is that statutory rape if the partner was willing? I don't know. That's what made it a lot easier when everybody, you were either 21 or you were 18. Like to drink, it was always 18. Once you're an adult, you're an adult. Yet now they say you're 21, you can't drink till you're 21 unless you're in the military. And I think with statutory rape, I think the politicians will make a rule that's one size fits all. Like if you have a case where the people are close in age, they went to school together. Say the chick's a junior and he was a senior, and the next year she's a senior and he's the first year of college. I don't know if I would personally, I don't think it's good justice for society to just be putting young kids in jail for screwing around. I mean, if we'd done that all through history, everybody would have got put in jail for that kind of stuff. Oh, she called you crying. That's funny. We got some drama here, Susan. I would have told, man, my mom would have told me, you don't be selling any drugs here. I'll call the cops, you little shit. I had sex at 14. She was a Catholic. That's okay. It's not rape. I agree with you, Susan. Rick, I hope you weren't raping on some 14-year-old. I'm kidding you. I'm messing with him. Hey, look, I'm not going to say anything. I love Catholic girls. Little stockings. I don't know what it is about guys and the little Catholic schoolgirl thing. I mean, I'm 62. I would be so creeped out by a 16-year-old in a schoolgirl outfit, I wouldn't even look at her. When I had my daughters, they'd have the cheerleading team in my backyard. And when I'd have bands in my studio, I'd like see some pervert in the band peering out at my girls doing their thing. I'd be like, hey, what are you doing? Get in here. They're fucking 14, you shit. It's my daughter out there. You keep fucking acting like that, you're going to go home sleeping. Some people are assholes. But I did another gig where there was a butler there, a very gay butler. His name was Patrick Fitzmichael. And my friend's name was Michael Fitzgerald. And he used to say some weird thing. Patrick Fitzmichael and Michael Fitzpatrick, insinuating a gay type thing between the two of them. But it was funny because I had the kids over at his house loading in equipment. We were doing the night Holyfield got his ear bit off. We were playing this big party for this guy who owned a bunch of strip clubs, and he owned a tennis magazine. He's a big millionaire. His name was Mickey Finch. I doubt Mickey's alive anymore, but if he is, wherever you're at, cheers to you. Kind of dry. But Mickey was larger than life, and his parties, make a long story short, my 2 girls were sunbathing out by the pool because this guy had this incredible mansion that I'd done all this audio video work for. And the gay butler looks out and sees some of the Mexican guys and they're like oogling my daughters. It was great. It was like having my mom there. Patrick went out there in full dudgeon and told them, you quit looking at those girls, you fucking perverts. He just jumped in their ass. It was funny as shit. He came in, all his feathers were ruffled. He's like, Neil, those guys were perving on your daughters. He was so Twitter. I said, good job, man. He's my brother.
Yeah.
You know, he's a cool guy. I liked him a lot. But that house was just so full of crazy shit sometimes. I mean, that night, the party where the guy got his ear bit, Mickey weighed like around 600 pounds, big, huge man. And he drove a big red Bentley. And he had more cars and trucks and shit that you can imagine. Rolls Royces. He had a Bentley and a Rolls. Crazy guy. But one of his party guests, he told him to get the fuck out of his yard. I don't know what happened because I was playing. But I look and all of a sudden I see the big man. He just punches the guy. He's telling him to get out. And he starts beating on him. And then some of his bouncers from the club dragged the guy off and threw him out. But I was so surprised. Honestly, I never thought the fat guy could move that quick. Guy covered a lot of ground quick. I was like, man, It's like you get one shot like an elephant. When it charges, you better get it off. Because, man, he got a hold of that guy, and he's a big guy. But one of the funny things about Mickey was he would say stuff like, some people make fun of his fat. He'd say something to him like, yes, well, you're fucking stupid. I can't fix that. I'm fat. I can take a fucking diet, so I would fucking piss off. He was like a maniac. And he was at the theater one day in the front row with his wife and his kids watching the Nutcracker or some shit. Mm-hmm. And some chick behind him called him a fat bastard or something. And he goes, fuck off. I fucking paid thousands for these fucking tickets. I've been listening to your mouth running for the past fucking half hour. Fuck you and fuck your mother. And he walks out. He gets in his Bentley. His wife's just cringing like, oh my God, I just want to take the kids to see this fucking play, you know? Mm-hmm. Mickey gets in the Bentley. He backs up and he fucking backs it up over the fountain in front of the fucking, the Straz or whatever they call that place. Mm-hmm. And he's stuck. It was terrible, man. The big fat bastard's sitting there and his car's stuck and he can't get off the fucking thing. Gets all of his bouncers out there and they finally, whatever he did, his little bodyguard posse, they picked the car up and got him home. But it was just like this insane, his life was like crazy. And his wife was brilliant, pilot, doctor, like really smart. And I'll tell you what, I had no idea how this woman put up with the guy because he was just so rude and obnoxious. I mean, you know, he owned all these strip clubs. So he'd always like hire these goofy chicks that he'd have. He'd like hire some chick who's been stripping to be his secretary. And she had no like idea of how to type or answer a phone multi-line. It was just like, and so what does Mickey do? He tells her one day, you know, you come in here wearing that skirt. I haven't seen me with you in 5 years, but I see it now. Because she was wearing like a really skimpy short cut. And she was a hot looking chick. And she'd bend over. She was playing it up for him, you know. Well, she quits a week later. The next thing I know, he's like, no, that bitch, you remember that secretary? I said, oh, did you get rid of her yet? She was awful. I'd go there to get my paycheck and shit. And she'd know, she's useless. I'd go to the old broad in the back who knew where the money was and the levers are, so I'd get paid. But she sued him for 50 grand for telling her sexual harassment because he told her that he only got a hard on when she was in the room. So he got sued for 50 grand. He just paid it. I said, why'd you pay it if you didn't really feel it was justified? He said, I didn't feel like hassling with it. We're back to the Catholics here. Okay, I thought there was new comments. Well, at any rate, people, we've come to the end of this pleasant diversion, this Saturnalia of sickness and fun. And we're going to go have some fun for a while and see you back at 4 o'clock. I can play music. I don't think I can play any video. Let me see. I can play video if it's loaded. So we're going to get out of here and have a great day. We'll see you at 4 o'clock. Bye-bye. And here's some Nancy.